WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have something from the brand new Distillery Ardnamurchan, and I have the Paul Launois, I'm not good in French, release. This is the AD/04 colon 21. So, and the cask types were Le Mesnil-sur-Oger Barrique champagne casks. Have you ever had a whiskey matured in champagne cask? I have not. So I'm not going to compare this to anything today because I don't have anything. All right, that was in a champagne cask, and everything else I have from Ardnamurchan is usually the mix, 75% unpeated, 25% peated. It just wouldn't be fair. Now I have, this bottle was 119 euros for me. So you can see the Ardnamurchan tiny little thing here. Yay. And in the Whiskybase 180768, it actually is on sale for anywhere between 179 and 299 euros. Wow. So that's really a lot and a much more than I can imagine paying for this. Ardnamurchan was started by the Adelphi Distillery Company. And Adelphi does some very, very good products. So they're, oh yeah, I have something I can show you here. All right, so here we have imported by Rolf Kasper GmbH, which means limited over here in Germany. And if I peel off the sticker, you have here for export only. So they actually do the label like that. Why do they do that label? Now, it's all, of course, about money, and it's all, of course, about taxes. So what happens is if I receive, for example, bourbon over here in Germany on a pallet, so we now import bourbon into Germany. We've had different products. We've made it over here, Sagamore, New Riff, and Wilderness Trail, and so on, together with my partners N10 Bourbon that I work with in the UK. Every box will actually say on it export only. Why? Because there was no excise tax, no alcohol tax paid on those bottles. They're actually in a bonded warehouse. They're shipped in a bonded container, and they arrive here in Germany and they go into a bonded warehouse again. And only when we take it out of that bonded German warehouse do we then pay the alcohol tax, the excise tax needed here for that in Germany. So the production of whiskey, if it's Scotland, America, India, Germany, wherever, you pay the alcohol tax in the country of purchase, not in the country of production, which is kind of interesting. So, because that means Scotland's missing out on, of course, all those excise taxes. They do have other taxes, and Kentucky also has taxes on a lot of the stuff and so on. But the real alcohol tax that we pay over here, 13 euros and 30 cents per alcohol of liter. It's just in Germany. In Ireland, I think it's 38 euros something per liter of alcohol. And so it's 3 times in some of the countries. Australia's even more than that. And so that's the reason we have that. All right, very, very, very good. Now, Ardnamurchan is famous for one thing at the moment, not just being new, but actually having QR code here and actually having the blockchain technology. So I type in, I scan in my QR code, and I get the following information. This is my favorite part right here, all right? So I get and I find out that this is bottle number 1735 of 2618 of our Paul Launois limited edition. Wow, that almost sounded okay. And then I can read the next thing here. Bottled by Lewis Hamilton. I don't think it's the Lewis Hamilton from Formula One that did it, but it's rather Lewis Hamilton that somehow works for Ardnamurchan. I love that name. All right, so it was bottled on the 26th of April 2021. Now, personally, the blockchain works fabulously with single cask. It's a little iffy if you have, for example, something like this. Might actually still work, I'm not sure. But others, bottlings, where is my bottle here? Here. This was the this is the 01.21.01. Thousands of bottles, 8,000 I think, and different years, different vintages. it can't all be the same. So it doesn't work with that. What do I mean? So I know, for example, and this is great, the transparency, that I know that we have a total of 10 American Standard barrels in here. All of them unpeated, all of them from the vintage of 2014. I have the cask numbers. I have 187, 185, 367, 370, 369, 372, 371, 363, 368. And I even know the toast levels. I know that 2 of them were light. I know that 2 of them were strong, and I know 6 of them were medium. Now, I'm kind of wondering where and how do they know that? These were not virgin oak. These are ex-bourbon, the first fill bourbon. So they have to have contact with the provider of these casks. I don't know if it's Kelvin Cooperage. I don't know if it's International Stave Company. I don't know if they get them directly from the different distilleries, but maybe they have something from Wild Turkey, and that would be a strong. Maybe they have something then from a Maker's Mark, that might be light, and maybe they have something from Heaven Hill, which might be a medium. So in America, we use char 1, 2, 3, and 4, but they talk about the toast level, not the char level here. Okay, so what's the toast level? What's the char level? More information, please. Maybe I need to call someone up. And then they had those 10 casks, those 10 American Standard barrels. And then on top of that, they had the 10 American Standard barrels that were all re-racked, refilled into these Paul Launois casks in August of 2019, almost a year and a half, year and a couple months extra here. It was matured in those champagne casks. And on top of that, now I can say it, they added a hogshead that was not re-racked. Why? Do you really need those extra 200 bottles? Why did you do that? Why did you screw up the system and say most of it was matured in these champagne casks, but not all of it? I don't get that. All right, and of course we don't know what the toast level is of the hogshead. And all right, good. That's just me complaining. All right, so I go here and I click on the barley, and the blockchain information tells me the barley variety is Concerto, and it's from the Broom Hill Farm, and the field is actually Bruce Field, which probably will be right. The mashing is the same thing as every time, 64 degrees for the first water, 82 degrees Celsius for the second water, and 91 degrees Celsius for the third water. The fermentation time is always about 76 hours, and Gordon Mackenzie is responsible for that. And for the distillation, we have here Nikki Dockerny is responsible for that. And the minimum hydrometer was at 68.5% alcohol, and the maximum was 75.5. So it starts low and goes up high, if I remember correctly. All right, and then the maturation I talked about. That's Ardnamurchan. So... all right, so let's try this whiskey. As I mentioned, it's only 9 minutes about. It is fairly strong. We do have here 56.7%. 57.6%. 2,576 bottles, and 120 euros was basically my price. On the secondary market, double that. Now, this is interesting. I really had my problems trying to get my nose around it. The first thing I got was graham crackers. Okay, I like graham crackers. Then the second thing I got was honey. And then I got honeysuckle. I got more honeysuckle. I love honeysuckle. And then I didn't really get berries, but I got a vanilla, and then I got maybe a gooseberry in there. So everything here is very, very light, very bright, very yellowish. There is no plum. There is no cranberry, there is no blackberry, there is no whatever. It might be a little bit of lychee, it might be a little bit of that gooseberry, it might be a little bit of a white type of grape, but they're all very, very bright, very, very light, very, very interesting. But there's a sweetness going on there. I have no idea how whiskey should smell or taste out of a champagne cask or a barrel, which is fairly, fairly cool here. All right, I don't even know how big champagne... I do know how big a barrique. A barrique is 250 to 280 usually. So, all right, so that you take 10 barrels and you put it basically after 6 years of maturation, 2014 to 2019. So 5 years of maturation, you're going to put basically 8. You need maybe 7 to 8 barriques for the 10 American standard barrels after angel share and the size differences. All right, cheers. You know what? I forgot to read the official tasting notes here. On the nose, we should have jellied fruits give way to an old alliance of fresh croissants with strawberry jam and warm Aberdeenshire butteries, honeydew melon with nougat and vanilla ice cream. Right. I'm going to say at least on the palate now. All right, in the palate, they say strawberry jam, muscovado, apple strudel, orange bitters, pink peppercorns on the finish. Wow, I don't know if I can differentiate. My peppercorns have always been pink, green, black, and white all together. I've never had a pink peppercorn all by itself. The strawberry tart, it's the tartness and a little bit of that strawberry in there. Jellied fruits, all right. Interesting, maybe. There is a slight astringency, a slight tannicity. There's tannins in here a little bit. There's definite oak going on here. But there's a buttery moment. There's a vanilla ice cream moment going on here as well. Now, when I dilute it down, it doesn't really get that much better for me, all right? So I tried taking it down to about 48-50%. On the nose, it turns a little bit more green. More of that honeydew moment comes through here. Now this is a whiskey that I'm like, that's okay. It's not a whiskey where I'm going to go, oh, wow. Now, I expect when I'm paying 120 plus euros for something, wow. All right, so my thing is anything under 40 euros is basically, you can try it. Anything between 40 and 80, it's like, well, if it's a recommendation, I might buy it. Anything between 80 and 120 euros is, I'm not really sure I'm going to buy this at all. It should be really, really good. And anything over 120 is like, it can't be worth it, can it? And that's just my personal classifications of whiskey at the moment. So, as I said, you can change the dollars into euros or pounds or whatever. They're not that far off there. Gave it some time in the glass to mingle here. I don't get any apricots. I don't get much salt on the nose either, but when I put water in here, there's much more of a salty moment. Yeah, for me, diluted, it's not really that much better, and so I cannot highly, highly recommend this whiskey. It is unusual. It is doing something. And I love the experimentation. I love the traceability and the transparency here of this distillery. But the prizes are, wow. Adelphi is not cheap anyways, but Ardnamurchan turns into something that's a little bit almost too exclusive, too high priced, too pricey for me and my pocket, my expectations of whiskeys. All right, so I'm going to give this a solid C. It's not a C minus, it's not a C plus, and value for money D minus. Sorry, it's a no age statement. Okay, it's 6+ years old. There are expensive champagne casks in here, which is unusual. If it would have been at 70 to 80 euros, I would have went okay, C minus. But 120 starting off price and now double the price on secondary market, I really, really cannot recommend it. So sorry. And don't forget, we're talking here literally about how many bottles did we have? We had 2,681. So it's 11 cask release. It's a small batch. It's not something, it's just not 261 of the world. There's 2,618 bottles out there. And at that price, wow. Okay, Whiskey Jason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany. Thank you very much for liking, subscribing, sharing, telling others, and also watching. Thank you very much for your comments, and thank you very much for your support. See you back here soon. Whiskey Jason. Bye-bye.